I'm Binnings. I'm the founder of HelenMeetsTroy. Just from looking at that room and looking at this room, there might be a different demographic I'm talking to as far as this experience, but we all have something in common. Everybody is looking for love, and of the people who are, it's now become the norm to look online, which is actually failing people. So before online dating, everybody relied on their senses. We now have online dating, and we're relying on a questionnaire of superficiality that has a 20% success rate, and that's pretty bad. So we can go to the next slide. So originally, I was a single guy. I was in Los Angeles before moving here, and I was on several dating sites, as most people are, and it wasn't working. So I had a light bulb moment. My family has done a lot of brain research, so we had a lot of those kind of sitting around the dinner table moments where we figured things out about how the brain processes stuff. And one thing that hit me was online dating has nothing to do with how we work. So I sat down, and it took about 4 years to develop and patent, but I've patented a way to look into our subconscious and read the visual triggers that we do through a website. So what that basically means is you can look at a picture of someone, and we can determine how attractive they are to you, and then go out and look at all the other faces that are out there and know how attractive those faces would be to you as well. We can do that over one face, multiple faces, it doesn't matter. So we're basically reading your sense of sight. I raised some friends and family money. We built a beta. We launched in San Diego. We have about 7,000 users right now. And I invited whoever was close enough, my programmers and I were in Southern California at the time, to come meet us at a coffee shop. And we did a live survey. And what we basically built was what everybody has, a subconscious questionnaire. And then I threw this as a secondary layer on top, sort of like a cherry on top of a regular dating, site or app. And the comments I got back had nothing to do with what was like everybody else. It was all about this new piece and how they preferred not having to search through their matches, because we were doing the visual search through the millions of, well, in this case, thousands of potential matches, but the infinite number of potential matches, we were doing the searching for them. And at around that point, we had a light bulb moment number 2, which is where we are right now, which is we need to pivot. We are looking for money to strip away everything that's superficial. No questionnaire that asks things like, do you like going to movies? What religion are you? What hair color do you have? Any of these things have nothing to do with how we actually match in reality. So what we are working on right now is patents on all the other senses. And right now we already have figured out sound and smell on top of sight. So the questionnaire is made to represent an in-person matchmaking experience. So again, in that room versus in this room, there may be, some younger guys here who currently use dating apps. Maybe people out there who use dating apps, but the number one thing they all do is they just have you answer age, sex, location, and then maybe more information can be filled in there. But none of them care about your personality. None of them care about reading any of the triggers that are given off when you are actually talking to somebody in person. So that's where we're at right now, and I'll go into more detail on how we do that. The matching accuracy shoots through the roof when we get to that point. Yeah, you can go to the next one, that's fine. So yes, this is the common experience. People they don't have success in their normal life, so they hop on an app or a dating site. They check them out. Only 20% ever succeed. 80% repeat this cycle endlessly. We can go to the next one. So us versus the industry. The industry is based around superficiality, age, sex, location, and do you like movies. Another problem that comes with that is when people are allowed to consciously answer things, they're also able to consciously lie about things. So they'll say they're younger, they're richer, they'll use other people's pictures. This is where catfishing became a thing. People straight up lied about who they were. You'd have a 50-year-old guy saying he's Angelina Jolie in her 20s. You could say whatever you wanted on the internet. A problem with online dating is that women actually get inundated with unwanted communication. Men just, they're basically thrown to the wolves when they hop online, and many women hop offline as soon as they get on because of this sort of predatory feeling instead of an actual connection with people. Big problem with all of this is when something doesn't work, it becomes time consuming. So what we've done is we've removed the superficiality by relying on realistic subconscious triggers for your sight, sound, and smell. We have doctors who have written us a personality test that's short and simple, but is scientifically accurate. And we use that to walk you through the same experience you have if you were at a house party or at a bar or somewhere. You look across the room, see somebody, they catch your eye, some feeling goes off inside you, to go up to them, you talk to them, you listen to their voice, they listen to yours, your personalities connect or they don't. Then from there, you're close enough that your pheromones send off a trigger to your brain saying that there's a warm, fuzzy feeling going off inside you, this is the one. And we can emulate all of that in a short 5 to 10 minute sign up, depending on how long you want to take. Users can't lie because your subconscious does not lie. So if we ignore your conscious and we only let your subconscious answer things, we never run into that problem. We also have a filter where we only let women get contacted by the people at a certain match level. They can change that setting if they choose to, but we don't have that as a setting, as an initial setting. When you don't have to search for the people that you would find visually attractive, you find an interesting conversation, the people that set off your pheromone triggers, then your search time becomes nothing. We just put them at the top of the pile, and you don't have to look through millions of potential people just to find the one that you want to spend the rest of your life with. But after that, the next big problem comes where, how do you talk to them? Right now, you have to give your personal cell phone number, you have to give your email, you have to give your Skype name, you have to give something where you can communicate further than just text or email through the app. And in doing that, a lot of women worry about the safety of giving away their personal information, and rightly so. So what we're doing is we're providing an in-app video chat. That's just a short 5-minute pre-date. After that, it's going to be like Uber, where you can give a rating. If you both rate each other high enough, then it allows you to continue doing video chats as much as you want. As well, you can just use it as a phone and never have to give out your cell phone number because you can just do voice chat through the app. You can go to the next one. So just some beta screenshots. This is the sign-up process. You would look at a handful of faces, you say how attractive they are, you listen to a set of voices, you say how attractive they are, and we learn about your personality for you and who you perceive is your ideal partner. From there, we can present your odds of relationship success. If you notice the DNA on the right is a question mark because that's an upsell that we provide where you can do a spit test, and that's how we learn about your pheromones. There's certain triggers that are given in your DNA that show how your immune system gets along with somebody else's, and those are directly tied to your sense of smell. So we basically sort of reverse engineer how to find out who smells good to you through your DNA. We can go to the next one. So here's another fun thing we throw in when you do purchase the DNA kit. We also understand that you are looking to another level of intimacy. So you can get a white glove service to help you write your profile. 1 in 5 people who use dating apps or sites ask for help from the service and usually don't get it. So it's easy money on the table. And then as well, we offer a kid predictor where you can see what that offspring might look like. Next one. So it's basically speed and accuracy. Right now, everybody is inaccurate and everybody takes a long time. Offline dating, meeting somebody at the grocery store or at a party works better. It's just more accurate when you actually are person to person versus what is provided right now. So if we can provide offline accuracy, but using the power of basically a virtual search engine, we can also increase the time, or decrease the time, sorry. Next slide. The market's pretty ridiculously huge. Over half of, just speaking of the US, over half of our population is a single adult. 2/3 of those people are using multiple dating services, are using at least one dating service. And then of those, about 1/4 are using multiple dating services. So both industries have not stopped growing since they came out, and that's something I'm a big fan of. We can go to the next slide. I built up a pretty good team. I poached 2 of the team leads from 2 top programming firms, Raytheon and not programming firm, Capital Group, but financial institution. And I don't need to go into too much detail on these guys. We go to the next one, because I'm short on time. And I'll just go through the revenue model and then our exit strategy. So we're looking at basically getting ad revenue from everybody, and then from there, I predict much higher numbers, but to keep it very conservative, most apps fall between 1 and 7% conversion to a paying member. Something that's longer, like an eHarmony, is a 1 in 4 convert to a paying member. So for us to presume at a 5% subscription purchase, I think is absurdly low. But at that, I just want to give numbers that show if we are close to everybody else rather than grandstanding. Next slide. So we actually got Universal Pictures reached out to us. They heard about the name. They asked if they could use our logo and name in an upcoming Judd Apatow movie. We as well have a top digital advertiser who will help us run that, and we would follow Tinder and Bumble's live event strategy that goes along with that to get people to download the app. We can go to the next one. So we basically launch going up the West Coast, go down the East Coast, and then fill in the rest of the country. We can go to the next slide. Our revenue model, again, assuming lower numbers than what I think will happen, has us basically raising money for a beta. A total of $8 million will be needed through Series A. Right now, we're looking for 3 to build out the beta and then market to our first market, and then approach for a Series A. So first 6 months, we build out the app, and then we market. We can go to the next one. This is probably more detailed than is needed, but we can go to the next one. And this is the last slide. So again, we're seeking $3 million. We'll get 15% equity, assuming a $20 million valuation. To give an example, in 3 years, that's the typical purchase point for dating sites from one of the major competitors. What has become the model from companies like Match.com is that they've become the Match Group. Can we go back one? And they just acquire dating sites between 2 and 5 years. They usually give a 10x buyout. And I wouldn't think that'd be a bad deal for anybody involved in this. If we got a 10x buyout around year 3, these are the projections based on that. So your $3 million would net you about $200 million return in 3 years. And that's us. And I have tons of references on the last slide if you want.